Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Spirit Lounge podcast. With me, David.
And me, Glenda. And we are two psychic mediums from both sides of the pond.
Glenda is in Australia.
And David is in the UK.
And we're here to talk about, discuss and give our opinions on all things spiritual, including psychics and mediumship.
And if you've listened to the podcast before, you know how much we love to laugh while keeping it real, honest and down to earth.
As well as having those discussions, there will also be guest interviews and maybe some other surprises.
So come with us now on our podcast journey and let's see what's happening in the Spirit Lounge for today's episode.
Well, hello listeners and welcome back to our Spirit Lounge. Good morning, good evening, Glenda, because you're here as well. Hello.
Hello. Good morning. Yes, good morning over to the viewers in the UK. And yeah, how are you, David?
All good. Excited because we have another special guest in our Spirit Lounge with us. We have a beautiful soul who I've had the pleasure of working with a number of times, and I've got some more stuff coming up this year with her as well. She's a psychic medium. She works very similarly to me. Fabulous medium, great evidence. We have the fabulous Charlotte Hill, based in Southwick in Brighton, down the south of England. So, Charlotte, welcome to our Spirit Lounge.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
So, welcome, Charlotte.
Yeah,
I've heard so many good things. David raves about you. And I'm like,
that's nice to hear.
I love it that you guys are doing so many dems together and getting out there. And, you know, it's so good to have someone beside you having fun.
Absolutely. I love it. Absolutely love it. Because you've got to be able to trust the person you're working with as well. Yeah. And as David said, we both work very similar with one another. We bounce off each other.
Absolutely. We've done the events. They're fun. We laugh. People have a laugh.
Yeah, they are.
And those people like, because we're honest about our mediumship. We're real about it, but we have a laugh at the same time.
Yeah.
So we've always had a great crowd down at that pub down Southwick. Yeah. More to come, people. More to come. Keep your ears out. So, Charlotte, we tend to we kind of bounce back and forward a little bit, but trying to get a little bit of cohesion in the conversation. So let's start at the beginning. So let us know, what is your, I don't want to say origin story. It sounds like a sci-fi film, don't it? But how did you start with spirit? How did you first become aware of them?
So my story starts when I was a little girl. I used to see spirit like I'm seeing yourself. So I would see them in front of me, but it would only ever be like at night time. So I would wake up and it tend to be children. So I would say to my mum, they're in my room again. And parents being like parents are, she'd be like, Charlotte, it's your imagination. You're dreaming, da-da-da-da. And then my dad would find me in the bath. Like I'd sleep in the bathtub because they spooked me. And I was like, they're in my room. So this kept happening. And then I find with everyone, as you get older and your mind gets in the way, it just sort of gradually goes. And I was always still aware of something, but I didn't see them like I used to see them when I was younger. And then I won a raffle. And it was to have a reading, a mediumship reading. And I didn't know what I was walking into. And I won this raffle. And when I went there, I didn't have the reading. She said, oh, no, you're having a lesson because you've got the gift. And that is where it started. And that was when I was 16.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm 41 this year. So I've developed for a long time. And then that's where I've sat in development circles. And as you probably both know, I've sat in you outgrow your circle. And that's what was happening. So I'd sit in a circle and then I would outgrow it. And it wasn't because people weren't no good. It was just like we all develop at different rates. And then it was almost like I'd learned what I needed to learn from those people and that energy. And then I'd go into a different circle. But it had been quite stop-start because I've got 3 children as well. And I found that when I was expecting, I was hypersensitive and I really didn't like it. Again, it put me back to when I was a child and I'd get frightened. And so I've got 3 kids, so I sort of stopped during those 3 and then I would get back to it. And then really developed, got into a circle that was amazing. My facilitator, she was amazing. She was a working platform medium as well. And I feel like that stepped it up because she could teach me from her own experience. Like, this is what you say, this is what you don't say. You've got a code of conduct, you know, all the things like this. And then it was her that was like, Charlotte, you really need to get yourself out there. And the big thing being confidence. I was like, I can't, because if I stand up in that church or that centre and I get a no, I just can't. Then COVID hit, and I had it also, I guess it's a vision, because I remember it so clearly that my guide stepped forward and he showed me what was to come. And he said to me, once we were able to do it, you must get onto it and this will happen and I'll be with you the whole time. And everything he showed me has happened. So, and then so haven't looked back. So it's been doing the platform services and things 3 years. So developed since 16, but only been doing this for 3 years for the public. But it's accelerated, which is really good.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that is my story.
That's brilliant. So how long in between, like, so when you started developing, before you actually, like, did you do private readings first? Like, how did you, or did you just go straight to platform?
Because I feel like I needed to build that confidence. So for me, with private readings, you know, it takes a lot for someone to come and have a private reading. And that, you know, as you both know, there's some that is in such a fragile state that I was like, I can't do that until I've got the experience of platform behind me. So I didn't do private readings for a while, and it wasn't until I'd done a few services and demos, and that's when I then was like, okay, I'll open my books to the private readings.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's so opposite to me. I love that.
It's funny, isn't it?
I do sometimes in my head think, if I've done platform first, would I be more comfortable with one-to-ones? I don't know how I want to say it, because I know Bill was the same. I think Bill went straight to platform first as well, didn't he, before the one-to-ones? So it's really interesting to hear the different stories about how you got started, because I think if I did platform first, again, maybe would I trust myself? Again, I guess trust is probably the word, isn't it?
Yeah,
I trust myself more in one-to-ones.
Yeah, it gives you the confidence. That's what I felt, because you're thrown into it with lots of people in front of you. You've got to give what you've got to give, so you tend to not question it. Whereas I think when you're in a one-to-one and that, you know, you've got that intimate setting and they're like, no, you know, that's where I was like, no, I've got to get that experience behind me first.
Do you have a preference, Charlotte? Do you prefer one-to-ones or platform? Do you want to say?
Oh, it's a really hard one, because some one-to-ones are amazing and it blows my mind. But some the energy can feel quite flat in comparison to demonstrations. Like when you're doing a demonstration, the energy is like buzzy. That's how you know, you can feel it. It's almost like a party. Everyone's come together. So I do love the platform, and I guess I don't get that sort of apprehension before the platform. I get like excitable nerves. But with one-to-ones, I am a bit like, oh, I hope this goes all right, you know. You know, and also you don't know who you're inviting into your energy as well. So if you don't like blend with your sitter's energy, that can be really hard if they're very like switched off as well. And so I don't never have a preference, but I guess I like being out on the platform, if I've got to be honest. But I do like one-to-ones. I do gain a lot from it, because, you know, I end up having conversations with them about all sorts in life, you know, and it leads into one thing to another. And funny enough, I've actually made friends through my readings as well. Like there's there's one lady that we've built a real good friendship now. So even though we're not having readings, I'll check in on her and she'll check in on me as well. So that's really nice what's been gained from it.
Oh, that's nice.
That happens a lot, I think. I think it's just sometimes you just come across people and you just gel with them, and you can get that with one-to-ones, because it's hard on platform to form that little bond or that little trust, you know. It's kind of in that short amount of space where you with the one-to-one, they're trusting you and you're trusting all of it, you know what I mean? So you're getting to know each other, I guess, on a soul level. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'd like to ask you, did you, when you stepped out and, you know, you're working on your confidence, did you have anything happen where you kind of like knocked your confidence down and you kind of went, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, or anything like that?
There's been a few moments like that. So when I first went out and did my demos, I went with the lady. So it was her booking, but I tagged along basically. So she'd be like, oh, Charlotte's going to do a few readings now. So it was almost like I had that support system.
Yeah.
But there would be a few where I said, you know, when the link's a bit flaky, and it's a bit like I really want to give that evidential message, but it's almost like it just wasn't gelling. And that's when I would go home and be like, that last message wasn't my greatest. And then that's when that self-doubt would creep in. And often the other thing as well, like if you feel a bit like that and then you see someone else has had this amazing demo, that's when you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but you do naturally compare, even though we really shouldn't.
It's human nature.
Yeah, there has been a few times where I just think, you know, oh, maybe I need to have a little bit of time off to regenerate, you know, get that energy back up. But I think that's just normal, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If you kind of take a step back from it and look at it now, do you feel like if there's mediums developing and going through this exact thing, you know, David always talks about it feels like treacle, you know, it's kind of gets really sticky and right?
Yeah.
So do you think that was because you've got tired, or because it just felt like the sitter wasn't working with you? What do you think, like, if you can give someone advice because you've gone through it, what would you give them?
Yeah, so I actually think it's partly the sitter, but partly spirit as well, because I am a believer that spirit are always teaching us. So they're not going to put people in front of us all the time that are easy to read for, and that are, you know, it's almost like we are all such different vibrations, and we've got to learn to adapt to those different people that are in front of us. So I always look at it like, oh, spirit, you've taught me how to deal with this person. You've taught me how to deal with a no. You've taught me how to deal with, you know, when two people are like, no, that's for me, that, you know, when people are grabbing those messages. So I always look at it like that's a lesson taught, you know, and although it can feel a bit of a rubbish one, the next time I'll remember that.
Perfect.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That would, and I think that will help anyone that's doubting themselves, just like you, going home and feeling bad, or, you know, taking that on themselves, to kind of just stop and do a bit of reflection and go, hang on, there's something here I need to learn.
Yeah, but I think as well, and again, I don't know about yourselves, but it depends what you've done through that day as well. So if you're on that platform and you're already tired before you've started, I feel like that has a massive effect. So now I'm quite wary when I have demonstrations of an evening. I don't tend to put bookings in throughout the day, because I need to save my energy.
Yeah, because it does. People don't realise how much energy it takes to do that sort of thing.
It's exhausting.
It is. Even though you're on a high after it, you've got to come down.
Do you, like, the next day, like last time I did a demo with David, I messaged him because I feel hungover the next day.
Yes.
And it takes me hours to sort of get back in the world of living. Like, I'm so foggy, and it's almost like I've drunk too much. That's how it feels. And I call it my spiritual hangover.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. If I feel like I need to disconnect from the world and ground my energy after it. I feel like I need to just replenish.
Yeah.
It's been like, I guess, like a big energy boost. Well, you think about it, for us, if we put it into context, we've just ran a marathon. Anyone that runs a marathon needs a break the next day. So would a medium. We're running on a lot of energy. So
and I think it's also if you look at the scenario that we do the mediumship in, it's in a kind of show kind of thing, right? It's not just a one-to-one. So when you are, for me anyway, when you are on platform, it's not, we're not entertainers, but it should at least be entertaining. And so
Mm,
because of that, we are using our, not just our spirit link, but our physical energy to make sure that the rest of the audience stay awake whilst you're reading for one
yeah,
person. So it's there's a lot involved in it. It's not just the fact of I'm going to stand here and just deliver. But we
Robot.
know we don't put on a show, but we bring out our personalities, and we've got to give our energy. If you stand on a platform, well, look, we've all seen it. If you stand on a platform and just go, okay, I've got mum here, or I've got nan here, and she looks like this, and oh, she's so funny, ha ha ha. Do you know there's no energy
yeah,
behind it at all, right? That then those people are probably going to be less tired than we are, but because we want to give a good dem. We want people to enjoy it because again we're aware that not everyone's going to get a message, and so we have to
Yeah.
be able to give out the energy to keep people interested, even though we're not looking at them or reading for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there's lots that go into it that people don't kind of understand. It's not just the fact of I'm going to talk to spirit today. There's more that goes into it than that.
yeah,
And the work up to it is getting ready. You know, it's driving to the
Yeah.
venue, it's setting up the venue, it's then doing the show, setting down the venue, driving back home again. You know,
yeah,
seeing your three kids if you've got kids at home, or the husband or the wife or whatever. So it's not just, we don't just turn up and go, right, let's work. There's all the
no.
planning that goes into it.
Yeah. Do you do anything, Charlotte, to prepare before a reading, like before you get up on stage or anything? Like, do you do anything, or you just kind of go, okay, I'm on, let's go?
No, so when I'm driving to a venue, I've got a certain like calming music that and I always say that when I drive, that's when my reflection time comes in. So I sometimes when I'm driving there, I'll suddenly feel really emotional and I'm like, why am I getting emotional? But I feel like that's sort of spirit's energy, like starting to step forward. And I always say to them, don't do it whilst I'm driving, but I can feel
Yeah.
that building. And then I always open up and center myself, ground myself beforehand. I try not to go on my phone too much beforehand as
Yeah,
well, because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that can sort of sever the connection. Like I don't want to be seeing what's going on social media beforehand.
yeah,
And it's the same with private readings, I'll make it nice and calm in here. I'll put my phone on silent. I'll invite spirit and say, come on, start stepping forward. So I just try to quiet my mind beforehand and not really engage too much with anything or anyone.
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, because social media, I try and do that as well. Because what you see on social media can pollute your mind right
Yeah,
before the reading or the dem or whatever. So yeah, I try to
absolutely.
put that aside as well. So
Yeah.
Charlotte also mentioned um, grabbers.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you
So
deal with that? We have a
how
lot
do
of
you,
people that
yeah,
ask those questions.
yeah. So how do you personally deal with grabbers?
So, because I don't go direct, so because I put it out there, you are naturally going to get those people that are up the front. Yep, yep, that's me, that's me. And every name you give, yeah, I can take that. But that is when I ask spirit to they give me a pull. So it's like I feel
Yeah,
like a pull that I'll go, I know you can take this, but I really don't feel like I'm with you. I feel like I'm with that lady at the back.
yeah,
And then and then they will still try, and I'll just say, thank you for your input, but I've got to go with this pull that spirit is directing me to that person.
yeah.
So that's how I tend to. But you are always going to get those people that want every single message and
Mm-hmm.
can some way make it fit, and you sort of think,
Mhm.
this isn't for you. I know it's not for you. And that is when I sort of say, no, this doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm over here.
Yeah. And I think me and Charlotte are the same person. Because
Yeah.
I was do the same do the same thing. Always go with that pull. Always go with
Yeah.
that pull. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
But we do get them, don't we? It's
you
just
do,
part of it.
and I think people that are developing, it's really important to stand in your power, because at the end of the day, you're running the show. You can't hand over the reins to everyone in the audience. You know what I mean? You have to have control of that reading. So
Yeah.
if you're just going to go to any Tom, Dick, and Harry that says yes and it's not right, the link's going to drop out.
Yeah,
It's just
and
going to
Yeah.
drop.
you can feel it within your
Mm.
energy because when the information comes through nice and strong and rapid, it's almost like David said, sticky, and you think there's something that's not gelling here, and
Yeah.
that's when you know.
Yeah. So Charlotte, what do you, when it comes to that, we'll talk about Deming, because I think that's I can get the passion that I'm feeling from you when it comes to Deming. So if you were to go and see a Dem from another medium, from your perspective, what do you think makes a good Dem or a demonstrating medium? Let's say that. What do you think makes a good demonstrating medium? Because there are mediums out there who they might be told by their mentor, I can take you out on the platform and you can be great. But actually, some mediums don't want to do demonstrations because it scares them. They just don't want to do it. So if someone is thinking about being a demonstrating medium, what do you think makes a good demonstrating medium?
I think, and this is me, because I have seen many mediums that some I'll be like, yeah, they're great. Some I'm like, not my cup of tea, and that's fine, because I always say, not everyone's going to like me, not everyone's going to like you guys, and I feel like you will watch someone that you gel with that sort of personality.
Yeah.
But for me, it is about bringing their own personalities out, and it's not for me. I don't feel like it's following that rule book and that we have to have
Yes.
that structure. It's what comes naturally. But then there is also a fine line. So then, when it then becomes about the medium rather than the link, that's when I switch off as well, because I'm not one that likes showmanship. And I'm not one that, I want
me
it to be
too.
entertaining, don't get me wrong. But when it's more about them and about how great they think they are, you can feel it coming through. And then I'm lost. And I sort of
Yeah.
think,
The
no.
ego.
So, yeah, the ego side of it. And that's when it spoils someone for me. So for me, that anyone was developing, stay true to yourself, and don't let someone tell you how to do it, which I have had so many times, because I feel like there's a lot of mediums that are of an older generation, so they were taught a certain way, and I will get told, oh, well, you shouldn't put it out to there. I once got called a bingo medium, believe it or not.
Oh, I love it.
A bingo medium.
I've got a story about that in a minute. Carry on.
Yeah, so I got once called a bingo medium. And funny, the way it was is that I asked a particular medium. I said, "Oh, how do you work?" Because we were doing one-to-one sit-ins at somewhere, and then he said, and he went, "Oh, I can't bear anyone that just puts it out." And I said, "Oh, I put it." And he went, "Oh, so you're a bingo medium then?" And I was like, "No, I'm not actually. I am a medium, and this is how I work." And sort of shut that down. But then again, I went to another place, and there was a medium, and it was this medium's partner that said to me, "You should work like them. You should work like them."
Oh,
And I looked and I thought, no, that is someone that I do not inspire to be like. And I was like, absolutely not. They work like that and people are going to love that. I work like this and people will love this. So that is the one thing that I would say to any upcoming mediums: do not change how you work. Spirit will change how you work, but don't be told how to work.
absolutely.
I'm about to
Love it.
spontaneously combust over here.
David's had me as a little serve of this in the past.
And it's interesting that there's that word bingo, because I thought I was the only person that heard that. No, I wasn't necessarily told. Well, how do I put it? I was part of my development group at the church, and my church was trained people to go direct, and I'd never worked direct. I can't do it. Well, I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Anyway, the whole story. And she didn't say it to me directly, but we were talking about it, and she went, we only go direct here. We don't do bingo mediumship. And I'm like, but in my head, I felt like a really rubbish medium because I never worked direct. I link with spirit. They're the one that's doing the work, right? And I'm being directed by them. And so when I hear these kind of things, it really, if you can tell, it really winds me up, because I will say, do you think that Nan and Spirit's going, oh, can't speak to her because that medium's not going direct? Do you think their spirit actually give a shit how you give the message as long as you get to the right person? So
No.
that it's that kind of snobbery which really does my nut in. Honestly, so it's just I just always pick up on that because I thought I was the only person that heard it. But if you were told
Yeah.
that as well, I mean, it is just the snobbery of it. I mean, no, I can go on all day about it, but I
Well,
won't.
I was trained to go direct. So when I sat in circle, I used to go direct. But then I went and did. It was when I first started that I tried to go direct, and it was a car crash because it would be the person behind them or person to the left of them, and that's when spirit were like, "This is not how you work," and
Yeah.
that's when I was like, "Right." All of that's gone out the window, what I've been told. This is how I'm working because now spirit are my teacher, and that's what
Well,
I stay with.
Absolutely,
and it's true.
absolutely.
But if you think about it, when you go direct, you're actually psychically linking in with them
Yeah.
first.
I've always said that
You
you're working
are.
psychic, whether you want
You
to believe it
are.
or not. And I was always taught, whether I was taught to go direct or not, I was always taught when you're doing when you're doing a platform, you are working mediumship. It is not psychic.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so, but if I say to someone, I'm drawn to you, spirit's not telling me I'm drawn to them. I'm just drawn to their energy. That is soul to soul. That is psychic, and I'm not
Yeah.
working psychically. So yeah, so Charlotte, I completely agree with you. Completely
So
agree.
do I. I
Yeah,
work like that as well. I just
yeah,
put it out there, and whoever it goes to, that's who spirit wants to go to. This is
Yeah.
the
yeah.
message for whoever it lands with. It's not up to me to pick and choose. It shouldn't be
No,
up to me to pick and choose. But we can all go direct if we want to. You just tune into that person's energy and you bring through their loved ones. You know what I
see,
mean?
that's what I was told. Yeah,
That's I
by
can do
by
it. I
by a lady who's she's I found out this lady, she's actually past the spirit now, so I don't want to bad mouth her too much. But no, I did. No, I did. It was after my demonstration that I did at a spiritualist centre. She said that my first two links no one could take. And so she said to me at the end, you learned a lesson there, didn't you? You should tune into that person and go direct. And I'm like,
no,
But
no.
don't you think though, as well, like there's so many cynics and people that want to catch us out. I do also feel like by going direct, you're sort of putting yourself out there because they might go, well, you've researched that person, or that person, you remember them from
exactly.
last time, or you
Exactly.
know who they are. So I feel like when you're putting it out there, you are literally putting yourself out
It's out
there,
there. Yeah.
and we're working completely on the trust that spirit are giving us, what they are
Yeah.
giving us, and not from what they think or we may or may not know.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
also, I think when it comes to demonstrations, as soon as you say, right, I'm coming to you, everyone else is now just switched off
Which is off, yeah.
because now there's that one
It's not
person
for me.
listening.
Oh,
No,
so
but if
I've
you,
missed it. Yeah,
but if you go indirect, you are bringing everyone else into the conversation. They're all paying attention to your link
And listening to the
yeah.
and
information,
listening to the
like that could
information.
be, yeah,
So,
100%.
And a lot of the time, a lot of people can take a lot of the information. Do you know what I mean? And like you say, when you stand up there, just because they're getting this message doesn't mean that it doesn't mean something for you as well. So I think that when the way that we work, the three of us now going, just putting it out there, it's more authentic. It's more, you don't have to try as hard because if you go direct, you got to nail that. You can't say, I've got your mum here. Well, no, you haven't because my mum's still alive. You've got to have it right.
no, that's true. I've seen many mediums, including ones I've got letters after their name, who go direct, and it's not worked. I've
It's
seen
not.
the teacher who taught open platform did the same thing, went direct, but he wouldn't shift. No spirit telling me I'm here, but we knew full well it was the person sat next to the woman who would take who it link it was, but he wouldn't shift. No, spirit right, spirit no. Well, spirit are right, but you're wrong. It's us that are wrong. Spirit are correct, but it's us as a human because our brain gets in the way. We can be wrong, and I think a lot of mediums out there need to acknowledge that because they all say, "Oh, I always get it right." Do you?
No.
Do you really? No. Accept that we are human. No, we've
Yeah.
got a logical side of our brain which can sometimes get involved, and that's it. That is okay. We are going to get things wrong. That's also how we learn. but it also shows that
exactly.
we are human. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
before you go to like a dam or you go to a church or, we go to see a medium work, a lot of people before they arrive are going, I hope you come through, and they're saying to their loved ones, I hope you come through. So then for a medium to go direct, it's kind of like they're cutting that connection with spirit. They're not letting spirit just come through.
Yeah.
It's just something so special about just sitting in a demonstration, and it naturally happens,
yeah,
when someone brings that essence through of your loved one, and you're sitting there going, I can take that. My heart's going, my heart's
yeah,
thumping, I'm getting sweaty palms. Oh my God, this is for me. I know it's for me. There's something special about that than a medium going, I'm coming to you now. Oh, are you really? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a magic to it when it
Yeah.
comes through.
yeah,
I feel like it's more authentic when you go indirect, it's
yeah.
just me, but that's my
No, no.
opinion.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to say to people listening who are developing as a platform medium, it's personal preference. It doesn't make you a better medium if you go direct. It doesn't make you a better medium if you go indirect. It's how you want to work, but not one way is better than the other. Because I say your grandma in spirit, or your granddad is not saying to the no to you, I'll not work with that medium because they're going indirect. That's a load of
No.
rubbish. I don't think Nana Grande really cares about that, do you? So work how you work, right? That's it. So next topic, otherwise I'll be here all day ranting about it. So Charlotte, but no, it's good to get another medium's perspective on it and being honest about it, because some mediums don't want to talk about that or do things, say things like that. But it's important because people out there will be wondering, okay, what is the right way to do it?
Yeah.
Am I rubbish? Am I rubbish because I'm being told I should do it this way? No, it is your individual link to spirit,
Be
and that's the end
yourself.
of it. Be
Yeah. Just
yourself,
be yourself.
absolutely. So
And
Charlotte, you're
Charlotte,
oh, go
I'm
on.
going to butt in again. So through your mediumship and demonstrating and your work, have you noticed, sometimes when you go through really tough times in life, that it does affect your mediumship?
Yeah, absolutely. I really do. Because I think that if you're going through a tough time, your mind is just focused on there, and it doesn't matter. I sometimes feel like because you are a medium, people think that you are living on the clouds 24/7, and that nothing goes wrong and everything's hunky dory, and that's just so not it. And then you have to be positive because you are giving someone their loved ones, and that you've got to take into account that they're going through stuff, and then you have to try and switch off from that. But sometimes you can't, and I have done readings before where the kids have done something, I've received a phone call or a text, and I think, right, I've got to put that to bed until later on.
Yeah.
But then it has showed in my readings where it hasn't been as strong as what I want, and I think that's because emotionally I'm dealing with something else. So and that's
what
why
advice would you give someone that's going through something like that, because you've faced those things as a medium? What would you offer?
I think it's important, if you're not feeling well, if you're not fit, whether it's physical, emotional, that it is okay to say no. It is okay to reschedule. But sometimes we felt like we have to get on that platform regardless whether we've got a leg hanging off or not. And you are the person that is channeling this information through, so you need to be 100% yourself. And when I first started, I was saying yes to everything, and I'd be really poorly, and then I would be thinking to myself, why is it taking so long for me to recover? Well, because I hadn't put myself first.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So would you do anything that what's the kind of term I want to use? But do you have any kind of spiritual hygiene? It sounds really like
Self-care.
That's probably
Self-care.
spiritual hygiene. Like, what do you do to kind of unwind and just
Yeah.
to step out of spirit for a while? I know you've got 3 kids, so it keeps you busy anyway. But
Yeah.
what little things do you do to separate yourself from spirit a little bit so you can live your earthly life?
That's a really hard one because I feel like everything is involved around it. I love the moon. So if I'm not working with spirit, I'm linking in with the moon cycles. I love positivity. So I'm all about the affirmations. I'm crystals. I'm always researching crystals. So I do feel like every aspect of my life is based around spirituality. So yeah, I don't really feel like I do switch off from it, to be completely honest.
Well, it's a way of life, isn't it? Now, some people it's a
It is
religion,
our
but to
life.
many others, it's just it's a way of life. And what do
Yeah.
you say about that, Charlotte? About do you see your work as a religion, or do you indeed see it as, okay, this is just part of my life, this is what I do? Because some mediums we know, hardened spiritualists, and that's their religion and all the bit and that and the rest of it. And some mediums that I know are not religious at all, but
No.
they do the work. And I think people out there have this misconception that in order to be a medium, you have to be a spiritualist, you have to follow spiritualism, and you have to be this, have to be that. So what are your thoughts around that, Charlotte?
It's funny you should say this, because I had a feeling this conversation was going to come up.
Almost a sidekick.
Oh, I know. Imagine that. No, it's funny because I am not for the religious side. I never have been. It's my way of life, and I believe what I believe, but I don't necessarily believe what you're told you need to believe. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like,
Yeah.
so I know, like, sometimes when we do church services, they'll do the Lord's Prayer and things, and that's fine, but I don't participate in that. I will be respectful, but for me, that's not my side of it. I am there to do my mediumship links and my addresses, which is my inspirational speaking. So no, I don't believe that you do have to be hugely religious. And my beliefs are that, I believe in the universe. I believe in the moon cycles. I believe that there are these energies that guide us, but I don't necessarily believe that. Oh, this is a deep one, isn't it?
It can get us
No,
rabbit
we
holes
like
here.
it.
But there is some people that say about God, their father, and things like that. That doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah. So we are the same
So
person.
let me ask you, do you believe in contracts, or that we maybe decide that we want to do some things before we incarnate here? Do you think we just come here and we're winging it?
I'm still on the fence with that one. I've got to be completely honest. I'm not sure. I feel like we are all here for a purpose. That's what but the part that I can't get my head around is if there's a contract, why would you contract to go through such awful things? And that's where I can't get my head around it. So I believe we're all here for a reason. I believe we're all here to learn something. But I'm still on the fence with the contract thing.
Do you think it's
same
maybe
as
about
me. Same as me.
see? And I'm on the belief of we come here to experience things, different things, because if heaven is so perfect and life over there is so amazing, I feel like we get bored there and we want to come down here and experience different things in different lifetimes. So it's kind of like, I want to try this lifetime. So because at the end of the day, why would we agree to it?
That's what I can't get my head around.
Why would we agree to it? So
that's it,
there's something there. There's something there. I feel like there's more to it. Will we ever know the answers? Is anyone ever going to tell us the answers? Well, I don't think we ever will.
I don't think we will either.
We're not meant to know. We're not meant to know.
And that's the thing. And sometimes, like, when we have readings and people want all the answers, I'll sometimes say, like, there's only so much that spirit tell me and that are going to let you know, because we're not meant to know everything.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's that free will thing. We're supposed to experience life and make those certain choices that we need to make, just like our loved ones did before us. No, they didn't sit down with the medium. My grandparents didn't anyway. Didn't sit down with the medium and go, "What am I doing next week?" No, it's just that they had to make decisions just like we did, and so they're never going to tell us what to do. I always say it to people: they're never going to tell us what to do, because we have free will. It's our life, and we've got to make it how we want it, basically. And talk about your life, Charlotte. Do your children have any kind of?
Oh my God! You took the words out of my mouth.
So it's funny, this is interesting, because when my eldest was younger, very spiritual, to the point that when he went to school, he spoke about his third eye, and his teacher said, "You don't have three eyes, you have two." And he said, "Only because you can't see it doesn't mean you haven't got it."
I
And
love that.
but now he's a non-believer in
Yeah.
everything. It doesn't even believe what he says. I'm crazy. He's like, "You're not talking to me." Yeah, he's complete opposite. And I'm like, okay, but I've never pushed it on them. So
Yeah.
none of them are christened. None of them have their belief. It's, for me, it's, you believe what you believe. That's for
Yeah.
you to come to your belief system.
Yeah.
My middle son, he'll often, I say that he used to say that he was seeing my nanny, which is funny because it would be when I would be thinking about my nan, and he would say, "I'm sure I've just seen Nanny Healy." And then my daughter, she's quite spiritual, and they're curious, but they don't have that understanding on how. But I feel
Yeah.
like that comes with age and maturity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And did you come from a spiritual family, or you, like me, seem to be the only one that does it?
Well, my nanny, she used to always say about seeing spirits and things, but not that she did anything about it. But she would
Okay.
say, "Oh, so and so, I've got a lady, da da da." But she used to be very in tune with it. And I would say my mum is, but again, my mum doesn't do anything about it. But my mum has certainly had those feelings where she felt like someone's around her.
Yeah.
Is your nan got like some Irish background or something like this?
I think there's an Irish link somewhere. Maybe I
Yeah.
think it might be is somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure where.
Yeah. I feel a lot of that around when you talk about her. I can feel like something Irish there. That's weird.
We're blending as one, Charlotte, because I've got Irish on my
Yeah.
side.
Are you sure you're not my twin?
I know. Maybe. Strange things have happened. So, Charlotte,
So,
let's get your opinions on certain things as well.
mm,
Is when we look at what we do and the value that it holds, and I know that you put complete value in what you do. When we look at that and look at the recompense for it, so looking at charging for what we do. Now, there are many mediums out there, even old school ones, which say, "Oh, you shouldn't charge," or "That's too much," or whatever. What are your? I know you do. Obviously, you do charge because you have to. But what are your opinions on that? Because I think a lot of people, again, are under the impression that if we've got a gift, and I don't personally call it a gift, if we've got this gift, ability, whatever you want to call it, that we shouldn't be charging or whatever.
Mm,
What are your thoughts around that? Because I know that there are people that listen to this who want to set up their own psychic businesses, and they're already in their head about what they should they charge this, that, and the other. So
yeah,
it's just nice because we go on about it all the time. So it's nice to
yeah.
get someone else's opinion on, okay, what your opinions around it.
Yeah, it's so I've always hated that subject. I'm more comfortable with it now because I know my worth. But back in
mhm.
the day, oh gosh, I do demos and wouldn't get a penny for it, but I travelled an hour up the road or 2 hours,
Mm.
I do feel like there needs to be that energy exchange. And before I developed with my mediumship, I did all my Reiki, and it was always said to me that energy exchange, that you pay for that energy exchange. I think it's important that you get it. And like you say, David, some people say it's a gift, but I believe everyone can do it. It's a case of unlocking it. And if you are putting in your time to commit to that, to development that, but also, you wouldn't ask someone to come and tile your floor and then say, "But I
For
want you to
free.
do that for free."
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
that's the thing. You are giving your time, you are giving your energy. Like we say, it's the preparation on the running up to it. You're giving your time, you're giving your energy. So why should that be for nothing?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You
And your
know,
expertise, don't
Absolutely.
forget as well. And the
yeah, and
development you've put into it.
and I do feel like it is taken advantage of as well. But at the same time, I know that greed does come into it. So, like you were saying earlier, with that lady that's charging 100 and something, I do feel like when I see some prices, I'm like, oh, like that's a lot, and I feel like that's when greed comes in. And I like to do it so that it's available for everyone. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
it's there so that everyone can have it. But yeah, I think you're always going to get people that think you shouldn't be charging. I don't think that will change. Or there's people that don't want to part with their money but still want you to give your energy.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a hard
Yeah,
one.
absolutely. Oh, I'd
Pay
love to go to
bills.
the hairdressers and get my hair done for free every time I go, and all that
Exactly.
sort of thing. But I've got to pay for it
Yeah.
because that person paid for their education, paid for their training, paid to learn how to get there. You know what I mean? They've got to put food on their table just like we do.
Yeah,
So
and it's the same with us traveling. Like, the cost of fuel, by the time you've driven there and driven back, you've actually paid to
Paid
work.
to work. Yeah, exactly.
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 Paid to work. And yeah, so I think something has to change there for sure, because I know that I've pulled back from quite a few things
Yeah.
when it's coming out of my pocket. And I've got
Yeah.
family, I've got bills to pay. As much
Mhm.
as Spirit want you to do this, they're not paying my rent,
That's
so
right. They don't want you to be broke.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
They want. I always believe that Spirit will. We put it out there. We ask Spirit. I ask Spirit to bring me some work. Bring me the people that I can help. Right. So they're going to deliver. They don't want you to work for free. They don't want you to be living out on the street, because if you're living out on the street, who are you going to help?
No,
Yeah, you can't do the
exactly.
work.
You can't do the work.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's important. And I'd like to know, how do you handle difficult recipients, clients through your years that you've been doing this? We have a lot of people, like David said, that are starting their own business, that are asking, how would you handle that? How did you handle a difficult person in the past?
So if it's a private reading, and sometimes they can sometimes be quite standoffish and closed, and you think, I'm not sure why you've booked a reading. And I will give it maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And and then I will say, do you want to stop this now? And I'll refund you. So I have given them that option. And then if they choose to continue, then that's on them. But that's how I deal with things like this. I also, I had a lady recently, and she's cynical, I've got to say, and she messaged me saying, I want to know why I should choose you to be the medium. And yeah. And she said, because I only want to pay for one medium. That was her words. And I messaged her and said, I am not going to convince you to choose me. And I said, and I am not going to, I said, all I'm going to say is find someone you feel comfortable with. And I basically said, I send you a healing hug. Hope you get the comfort you need. But I'm not here to convince anyone of anything.
No, absolutely not.
Yes.
I've heard a lot about people doing that.
Yeah.
We're not here to prove our work.
Me to basically sell myself and be like, I need you to convince me why I'm going to choose you. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Don't choose me. I don't. No, thank you. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, don't want to use the client. Sorry, you've shown me what client I don't want to read for.
Yeah, and
by saying that.
It's that energy. I think you've got to be careful who you surround yourself with. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, well, actually, you've chosen for yourself, because the medium's not going to be me. I'm not going to have you in my energy.
Red flag.
Yeah, and then with demonstrations, if they're being difficult, I just tend to cut that link and say, okay, well, I'm going to leave that with you. Thanks for working with me.
Perfect.
Don't give them any more of my energy.
Yeah,
that's great.
What about Dem, Charlotte? I know you do the churches and you do some other stuff outside of that as well. I've still not been brave enough to put my own ones yet, but maybe at some point I might. That's not a whole other story. But what do you do you have a preference whether you do a church or whether you do like a private? Like we do, like apart from the one that we do together, because we have a fabulous time. But once you do by yourself, like if it isn't like a social club or something, or a pub or something like that, what differences do you notice between doing those venues and then church centre kind of stuff? Or is there a difference?
I do feel like there is a difference. I think with the church people, with the church demos, you know that they are like-minded people there, because 9 times out of 10, they're members of the church. They go to the divine services, they go to the demonstrations. So they can be a bit more, if you give something, they think a bit more outside the box and go, oh, I can see where you're coming from. Whereas when you do, like, whether it's a social club or a pub or things like this, they're thinking one way and one way only. And you sort of have to teach them to receive a message. So it will be like, well, if there's a month, the month could be meaning this, that, this. Or if I'm seeing this could be symbolic for X, Y, Z. So it's almost like you have to talk them through how to receive that message.
Yes.
Whereas in a church, they almost know how to do it. And that's how it feels. But I will say, I do feel like the energies are different in a church setting. And it's almost like in a church sitting demo, it's more calmer. Whereas I find like in the other demos, it's a lot more buzzy. That's the only word I can explain for it. But then I guess you've got so many different other energies there.
Yeah, I find it really tedious. It's almost like you have to bring it around in nearly 3 different ways for them to understand it when you're working out of the church. Because the church, they seem to be more open and receptive to like you said, looking outside the box. But when people don't know how mediums work, they're like, no, I don't understand it. Well, can you understand it in this way? No, could you understand it this? But, oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it's sometimes harder to get it across. Definitely, I totally agree with you there.
Do you go in prepared differently for a private, let's call it a private event, or do you go in the same mindset? That doesn't matter whether it's a church or a social club. It's the same, or do you go in, okay, I've got to prepare myself a little bit different for this one because of...
Same mindset for me. I do exactly the same setting up myself, shall I say, regardless whether it's a service, whether it's a demo. I'm still working the same way with spirit, regardless of the surroundings. So I prepare myself exactly the same way.
And do you have a preference between the two, or is it again the same to you?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's a funny one because I've loved, like when you and I, David's been working, it's been such a laugh that I sort of come out and feel like, oh, that was a really fun evening, and they are fun evenings when you do, like, for someone, but it's definitely got a different vibration to it because it's almost like you're following their rules, whereas when it's your own, it's almost like you can say what you want to say and it's got a bit more freedom. Does that make
sense? Oh yeah, I know completely. Yeah, completely. Yeah.
And so I feel when you pair work together, it doesn't even feel like work.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's just it's great. I enjoy it.
The time flies to the point where like we need to stop. Whereas I know sometimes when I've done a demonstration, I've looked at that clock and I can feel my clock winding down.
Yes.
And I think, God, I've still got another half an hour to keep pushing on.
Yeah. So how do you keep your energy then, Charlotte? Do you do quite a lot of them? You do quite a lot of stuff. So how do you keep yourself energized?
Well, whilst I'm doing it?
Just in general, we think, oh, okay, because look, sometimes, let's be honest, might have a dem like on a Friday night. We think during the day, we think, oh, I just fancy just sitting here on the sofa with a glass of vodka and watching TV. But you've got to go, right, come on, get up.
I mean, it probably sounds corny, but I literally say to Spirit, come on, Spirit, if you want me to do this, you have got to help me out. And
I say it's
yeah, I do. I put it on them.
You want me to do it? You've got to show up. Better help me out tonight.
Yeah,
I say it sometimes because I do a lot of private readings, and sometimes I'll sit here and go, I haven't got the energy. You guys are going to come in today. Come on, help me out, because I just haven't got it with me today. But you've got to get on with it, Just sometimes you've just got to get on with it. So how often do you work? Do you work every day, a couple of days a week? How often?
So I do private readings pretty much every day. And then, well, I say every day, I don't do private readings at the weekends or Friday nights. Friday nights, unless it's a demo, is my night off, basically. So I have a lot of privates, and then I probably do 1 or 2 a week demonstrations, I would say. Like this week, I've got 2. So I've got a demo and then I've got a divine service. And then next week, so I always have, it's quite often I have a demo every week somewhere.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's the thing, people do say, you can't say no, you can't say no. And I'm like, oh, no, I can, but I love it. That's the thing.
Yeah, if there's one of those things you enjoy, then do it. Isn't it? Absolutely. So, a few more questions here, Charlotte. One of them I want to ask you is, how did you get involved with the SAGB?
I got recommended.
Oh.
Yes, so I was recommended up to there, and I was visiting the SAGB, so I would go up to the building and work up there, but it was 3 trains that I would have to get, and I'm not an anxious person, or I didn't think I was, until I was having to travel up there, and I would get myself in a bit of a state, and I'd get quite emotional because I hate being away from home as well. And I did it for a little while, and it sort of took that enjoyment because I was so worried about it all the time. But now I do it, I spoke to them and they were happy for me to do it via online instead. And now that's been lovely. But that was through recommendation that I got involved with them.
And what is that? Can you explain it for the Aussies over here?
Well, the SAGB. So, I mean, it goes back like so many years. There's so much background behind it, but it's a big building up in London. It's the Spiritual Association of Great Britain. Lots of mediums worked through there. There's lots of history that goes through there.
Right.
Open 7 days a week from like 11 till late. Lots of different mediums work there. So they run circles, they've got healing there. They have like trance workshops. So it's just a big old spiritual building, and it's a beautiful building. It's in Battersea, but it's quite a trek to get there for me anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, David,
South London, isn't it?
Is it? You'll have to take me, David.
It's too far for me as well, and it's quite a way. But no, Doris Stokes used to work for the SAGB.
Yeah, there's lots of there's got a real strong, heavy history behind it. Yeah.
And anyone can go there and study and learn and things like that.
I mean, as a medium, no, you have to basically they will watch you work, and if it's through recommendation, so you will get recommended and then you'll be invited up there and you will be asked to perform platform. The thing is, though, the platform is probably the hardest platform I've done because you might have 20, but then there might be 2 sitting there as well. And you've still got to keep that going for the hour. So because they have mediumship demonstrations every day, you don't know who's coming in and how many's coming in. So it can be quite like, wow, I've got to give these 3 people in front of me an hour's demonstration.
How do you do that?
It's hard work.
Wow. I thought once you give them a reading and that's it, see you later, off you go.
There's no sort of like consistency. So you just it depends what day and whereabouts they're coming from and things. So as I say, you could walk in and there's 30 in there, but another time you'd go up there and there isn't. So yeah, it makes you really work.
Wow. Sounds like it. Yeah, I've not heard any of that before.
You walk in and it's, some buildings just have that energy about it, and that's you walk in and you're like, oh, okay. But yeah, so no, you have to be recommended, and then they will watch you work, and then they will say, yes, we want you to basically be on our books.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
So if I came over, could I go visit there and sit in the crowd and get a message, or it doesn't work that way?
Yeah, I think you could. I'm not sure about the politics of it, like what memberships if you do, but I'm sure you could go in and then you just pay for your ticket and then you can have that. They've also have healing going on upstairs as well. So they have a group of healers, which is lovely. And then you can also have one-to-ones with those mediums there as well. So whatever medium's working in the building at the time, you can then book in for your one-to-one sessions with them.
Wow, interesting.
Okay.
But it was just the travelling that got to me, you know, the 3 trains before I'd even got there. And I just felt like that was taking it out of me before I was even there.
Got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Have you been to AFC, Arthur Findlay
No, I
College?
haven't.
I haven't been. Okay.
No.
So my question just popped in my head. What do you feel about the need or not the need to be certificated in this field of work?
I think as long as you have had, you know, as long as you have had your training and you have done development and you are still going through this, I don't feel like a piece of paper proves anything, because I have seen or I've spoken to people that say, oh, well, I've got my level 1 in such and such. And I'm like, in what? Because you can't just suddenly go, oh, well, I've studied that and now I'm ready to go, because that learning is always happening. So I really feel like it would be down to the facilitator, like it was in my circle, that she said, Charlotte, I feel like you're ready. You know, because when they say, who did you train with, you're going to give them their name. So they don't want it to look bad on them as well. So for me, I'm not one that needs a piece of paper to say that you are a medium. You know, I think
I agree.
You do your development, you work, you practice, you learn from others, you know, and it's through experience. But at the same time, I don't think anyone should be jumping on that platform and giving one-to-one readings without sitting in a development group.
Yeah. No, I agree.
What about training other people?
Training other people. Well, I am going to start training other people. That's starting in the summer, so that's exciting. So again, I feel like you shouldn't be training to people unless you have experienced it yourself.
Absolutely.
And again, I've heard people that have said, oh, they're going to start a circle, and I'm like, oh, you're a working medium, and they're like, no, just go to a church. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't be doing that, because you need to be able to link in with that person that's you're teaching, and you need to know what's right and what's wrong, and you know, a way to put it out, and what we can say and what we can't say. I don't know about you, but I never give things about health and things, you know. So you know, I know that some people do, but you shouldn't. And, you know, it's like on this TikTok, which, David, I know you're on TikTok, but I'm not sure if you are. But, you know, there's people on there predicting pregnancies and say it. And I'm just like, oh, my God, what are we doing? And that is when they need that development and that education behind them.
Oh, I predict pregnancies.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's totally different over here in Australia. The psychic readings are totally different. We're allowed to do predictions, and I'm really good at predictions. I'm really clairvoyant. So my line, I do predictions, and they're pretty much spot on.
So. Okay.
But to stand on a platform and give a prediction, I wouldn't do that. No.
Then you've had the training behind you, whereas these other people, they've brought a pack of cards and then they think that they're all right to give the guidance, and I just think it's dangerous.
It's not even that. They pick up a card and read the word on it and go, there's your message.
Yeah.
Charlotte, you would die over here. You go and get your eyebrows done. They pull cards for you, and then they get ChatGPT to give you the meaning of that card.
No way.
Yes, they do. It is just next level. disrespect to our work, and they have no idea how disrespectful it is to us and what we do.
It makes a mockery of what we do.
It is. It's a mockery, and people take the piss out of it, and then in the end we look like charlatans, and you know, there's no respect for our work.
Yeah,
and that's what it comes down to. These TikTokers and these people that are just pulling cards and just going, here's the guidebook, here's your answer, or here's ChatGPT's answer.
No. So Charlotte, saying that, when you look on social media, on a serious note, what damage do you think that these social media TikTok, not saying TikTokers, social media medium psychics, whether it be on Facebook or whatever, what damage do you think it is doing to the industry?
Masses, because there's people on TikTok. I mean, the thing is, it's really hard because I genuinely hate social media because it just makes you feel really rubbish sometimes about yourself.
Yeah.
But you need to be on social media to get yourself out there, you know, and everything is via social media now. But when I will say, for example, I'm on TikTok and people will then message me, say, I want a reading, and they're like, but I want it now. I'm like, well, I've got bookings. I can't do it now. So then they will go to someone else that's sitting in front of the screen all day long, that will have a really quick reading for 10 quid. And it's almost like then you're put in that same category as them, whereas they're not going for people that, not that people that are known any better, but they're not going for people that know how to give a reading. They're going for people that are just sitting in front of a computer and like, do you know what? There's no value behind it. I've got your money, so I'll just give it to you. I'm never going to see you again.
And look at how cheap, and look at the value they're putting on it. 10 quid. No one cares.
Yeah.
So that's really, in my opinion, it's really losing the value of what we do, because a lot of these social media mediums or psychics, if we want to call them that, are as psychic as a spoon. And there's no insight, there's no psychicness to it, but people fall for it. So
they do.
You know, you've got to. It's very worrying because we start to lose our value, and then we're guilty by association. Although we don't do. I've never done a TikTok live, and we'll never do a TikTok live. Again, like you said, I don't want to be bundled into that.
Yeah. I have done a TikTok live. They're quite fun.
No, I can't. No. I see some of the trash that's on there and some of the trolls, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
Only because I see so many of them that I have to block straight away. I can't sit and watch that. You just told some woman, poor woman, she's not going to see her child again in spirit because of the way the child died.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't.
I know who you're talking about.
Well, that just came to my head. That wasn't anyone specific, but I have heard that story. That just popped in my head.
There is a particular medium on there, and he shouldn't be doing it. The things he says are appalling. Appalling. And he actually says that you're never going to see your child again because he says they don't go to spirit.
Oh God,
my Lord.
Honestly, I'm not even joking. That's why I said I know who you're talking about.
Oh no, that wasn't even in my head. It was just I have heard that story.
Yeah.
Someone was told that. I can't. That's just honestly.
I can't do social media.
I don't want to be bundled into that.
Yeah.
That pool of people. No thanks.
No, and there is trolling on there. There is, and that's the thing. So I haven't done one in ages, purely because I haven't had the time, to be quite honest. But you will get those people that are like, you're fraud, you're this, you're that, you know.
Yeah, I can't. If I do it live, I do it on Facebook. That's where most of my community is, and I did one last week and I had a lovely time. So that's where I think I will stick.
Yeah.
Right, Charlotte, just conscious of time, so I'm sure you've got a busy day ahead. So let's move on to some more fun questions, shall we, just to start wrapping up. So, Glenda, do you want to ask your bog standard question?
So, Charlotte,
really
does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Oh, David's winning this season.
Yeah, absolutely. In a fruit cocktail or an actual
margarita.
If I'm going to eat pizza, I don't want any healthiness on my pizza.
Exactly. No, I agree. Absolutely agree. Marvellous. Thank you, Charlotte. That was the correct answer. Right. What else? This is an interesting one. If mediumship was a reality TV show, what would it be called?
I don't know. Imagine you're onto something here, David, about doing reality TV shows with a bunch of mediums
Can you
together.
imagine? Bloodbath.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it's called, bloodbath.
Bloodbath and bitchiness. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would call it actually, because there's so many different ones of us.
I know. Can you imagine?
Yeah. You've
That's
put me on
fine.
the spot. I could have had time
I
to
know.
think about that.
No, yeah, but I thought I'd just throw them at you, see what you come out with.
Yeah.
So just to end it, if today was your last day and if you could leave behind a piece of advice for anyone that you've had through your journey, what would that be?
Well, it's what the famous Caroline Flack said, in a world you could be anything, be kind.
Perfect.
That's it. Like, doesn't cost you anything to be kind. You know, be yourself, be kind. And that is what I drill into my kids.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah, need more of that in the world.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on here with us and sharing your time and your beautiful energy, Charlotte. It's been so good.
It's been so fun. I was a bit nervous, but it's been so fun.
It's been amazing.
Make it fun.
We'll try.
I've not swore once.
I think you fucking have. Well, I just don't know as well.
I was literally about to say David's been really well behaved as well, and then you.
I try, but I've learned that I'm immune to Glenda. So you probably listen back to this, you'll hear 100 fucks in it or something like that. But that's just Glenda. Well, thank you, Charlotte. It has been a pleasure. Oh, actually, before we go, where can people find you, Charlotte?
Yeah. Oh, so what week are we on here?
18th.
Oh,
so this will so 19th because I've lost the plot. So we'll be in June by the time this comes out. But if people want to find you, let's say they want to contact you, where they find you?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Which is Charlotte Hill Medium. TikTok, which is again Charlotte Hill Medium, and Instagram again Charlotte Hill Medium. It's under all Charlotte Hill Medium on all three of them.
Marvelous.
Awesome.
And any big dems you've got coming up that people might want to come along to?
I've got quite a few actually. So I'm in Brighton on Thursday, but this might have passed by then. I'm then Peacehaven. I'm in one. West Wittering. I'm going to West Wittering for one. They're quite big ones. And then we will have our one coming up, David.
Yes. Again, yeah. Fabulous.
Yeah. And then I'm also doing my own one in Hove as well. It will all be on my social media. So if people go on my social medias, I will always advertise where I'm working.
Perfect. And we'll put your social media links in the show notes as well, so people can find you. It's been a pleasure, Charlotte. Thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah. And Glenda, thank you to you as well, my darling.
And to you, David, and to all the listeners who always turn up and listen to our ramblings and our what's the word? Oh God, I've gone blank. Opinions on things.
Yes, there'll be more opinions to come, don't you worry. Right. So thank you, listeners, for joining us in the Spirit Lounge, and we'll see you all again soon. Thank you for joining us in the Spirit Lounge for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, please like and share the podcast. And if you can, please leave us a comment or review, as it really helps us out.
And if you want to hear us talk about a particular topic or have a question you'd like our viewpoint on, then email them to us on either davidhmedium@outlook.com or glenda-marie1@hotmail.com, and we'll get to them as soon as possible.
Lastly, if you'd like to connect with us individually and book our services, you can check out our websites. Glenda's website is www.glendamariepsychicmedium.com.
And you can find David at www.davidhmedium.co.uk.
For now, it's bye from me.
And it's bye from me.
Join us again soon in the Spirit Lounge.